Good afternoon. Today I want to share some of my favourite things. You know that I like to sing, and I promise you I'm not going to sing in this, but I just want to leave this memory as just what I consider most important in my life. First of all, there's my precious, adorable grandchildren, and this is Sammy at his healthiest as a little baby, and we just fell in love with him so quickly. You've got no idea until you're a grandparent how much you love your grandchildren. And really the rest of my life is about my family, my children, and my God. I love this book. The stories that I've read over and over and over and over and over throughout my life, from the time Mum got me to read to her once I started to learn how to read. My brothers and sisters used to read a chapter of the Bible a day, and I couldn't wait to be of an age where I could do that too. And I read a chapter of a day of the Bible to Mum when right up until I left home at 17 to go nursing. And where it was just largely stories then, the meaning of it has come alive over the years to me, and I really enjoy that, reading the Bible. It's a bit hard now that I have got diabetes. It's hard on my eyes. I do a lot of screen time with my work. So what I do is I listen to David Shushay read the Bible, and I follow along with him, and I'm getting so much out of listening to him as he reads the Bible to me every single day, every single night. There's a saying, faith comes from hearing, and I really think someone reading to you has a huge impact. The other joy of my life is my little grandchild, Rory. She came into our lives 6 years ago. Tia and Cal presented us with our first grandchild. It was 2 days before David and Sean got married. And I just, oh, it's just so adorable. I mean, look at Tony. Pa is so in love with his first grandchild. There's no getting around it. It's just, there's me. Don't think I've changed much over the years with her. And yeah, little Rory. And she's grown up. She's 6 years old now. What a beauty. And here's my daughter, Tia, Rory's mum. So, David and Sean, yes, I've shown you all the loves of my life, exception being Harper. I haven't got to her yet, but that will come. Then I got this made for Tony. This is his first year as a grandfather. I wanted him to remember what it was all about. So there's a picture of Tony holding Rory, picture of Rory there, and a picture of David when David was a little chappy. Then there's pictures of Rory, picture of Tia, so they could see where the parentage comes from. Rory was born, and 2 days later David was getting ready to marry the love of his life, Sean. And she is every bit a daughter to me. She is a wonderful wife to David and mother to our grandchildren, and she is a really good daughter-in-law. So then there's little Tia growing up, and I think Harper is so much like our side of the family. I want her to be able to see the people that have gone before her and how closely she is connected to our family. So there's Tony having fun in that first year of Rory's life. And Rory meeting Arlo and Athena as we had Sean's, I think it was Sean's baby shower, because she got pregnant, like I got pregnant 3 months after I got married. I think Sean did about the same thing. And then there was our precious little Sammy. He had a bit of a rough start. He was 7 months gestation when he was born, so he needed to be in a Humi crib, and had that kangaroo cuddles with his parents. Oh, he fought for life, and he was healthy. He was so beautiful. Just what a gorgeous child. So then I want to show you the next lot of our life. So there's Sean with a healthy Sammy. There's my mum just before she passed away, and we said goodbye to her. Some of the photos from Sean and David's wedding, which was just a beautiful time. And there was, while they were getting married, here was Cal meeting his new daughter and loving his new daughter. And then as soon as Sean and David could get around to cuddle her, which was the next day after they got married, and before they went off to their honeymoon, they did. So, and here we are again. Well, Tony and I went to the feast in New Zealand, and what did he have to go and do? But he had a heart attack, which was really scary. And he did have that feeling of the life leaving him. He was bleeding out. And but there was a quick prayer, don't let me leave Ruth like this. We were in a foreign country. I don't know what I would have done. We had people who took us in, Linda and Daniel Porteous, and their family looked after us for I think it was 2 or 3 weeks that we had to stay before we could come back. We had no money. Like, everyone just sort of looked after us. And then there's Mum and Dad. There's some more pictures of Mum and Dad up here. By this time, Dad had passed away, but I was going through my photos, and I thought, I want Sean and her family to have photos of our family so the children feel connected when Tony and I aren't here anymore. There's David asleep with Sammy, bonding me with Sammy. Sammy having a bath. Gorgeous Rory. You could see she was going to be a pretty girl. That certainly showed. And you can see more of Rory. And then little Sammy. Oh, he's so serious there. And then Sammy with his Lola, which is his other grandma. Sammy with his parents and Rory. So a little Princess Rory. I had to laugh because Tia was a tomboy, and she hated it when I put her in tutus and lace and frilly stuff. She didn't like it at all. And my daughter's not going to be like that. Well, looky here. Because she likes it. She's got the most feminine little girl or a daughter out. Oh, she's adorable. And then you just look at little Sammy. Doesn't he look just the picture of health? And he was so smart. He was learning quickly. He was just this adorable little thing. And Rory and Sammy would come over here and they'd play together before they went to Adelaide. There is Sammy's Lolo, and that's Grandpa, Sean's dad. And of course there's more of Rory, Sammy, and let me see. So cute. I love that one. There's a favourite one I have of Sammy. I don't know if I put it in here, but it's of him praying. Sean said to him, what are you doing, Sammy? praying. He was just sitting on a little, I think it was an esky, and had his head bowed, his hands together. I hope I can find it. And I thought, this kid is special. There's me with David. Yeah, I was slim once. I don't know what happened to me. Sammy in the bath over there, Rory looking up. Picture of me so they don't forget that I was once a bit younger than what I am now. My mum. I tell you what, this little kid here, he has been put in the washing, he has been put in baskets, he has just, oh, I'll tell you what, they've had fun with him. Let me see, and there's me and Lola. Tia with having a family shot. That is one of my favourites with David and Sammy. Just look at the trust in that baby's eyes. And the boys asleep together. Love that. A family shot of Tia's family and Cal's family, and a grumpy Tony, because everyone knows he's very protective of me. I just had surgery and Tia wanted special shots. Tony was worried that I would hurt myself. So he's not angry, he's just concerned. And here is ladies from the Perth church that I spent 17 years with. Me and Tony over there. I think that was our first date. We were at the King David restaurant, and I was asked by the photographer. The photographer comes around and does a photo. He asked us to kind of go in, and I was very shy. But anyway, who would know? Who would know we're meant to be together? This is my favourite photo of Sammy praying. I mean, look at that little child, the example of his parents. To think that they could be influenced so young. Darling, darling, darling. Little Rory, she's looking worried. This little dimple on her head, just like her mum had when she was little. She banged her head and mum banged her head. There's me at the Sir Rupert Hamer Awards in Parliament House. My program got an award. That's me getting an award from the minister. Sammy eating, Rory and Tia and us in Perth. So we went for a visit. So there's my dad, beautiful dad. So I often look at this. I'm not going to go through all of that one, but this is the latest. This one took me by surprise. I didn't know that it was coming. And Tony, I was in bed. Tony got the mail. He opened it up, brought it to me, and just left it with me. I read it and I cried and cried and cried. Sammy has got a condition called fires, and he was a perfectly healthy child. I don't know what the reason is why kids get sick with fires. It is, how do I explain it? It is a rare type of epilepsy called fires. He got it in 2019. It's a rare infection even amongst epilepsy, and it can affect anyone, even young and healthy people with no history of epilepsy, no family history of epilepsy. Sammy got it. He had non-stop seizures which lasted for days. He was put into a induced coma for him to survive for a week. Now his seizures have gone into a semi-remission, and of course he's survived, and we're so grateful for that. With prayers from people around the world, strangers, people who didn't know us, cards from people who didn't notice, gifts that were sent of toys from all parts of the world, because the word just got around. Even people who didn't know us, and I guess now people do know us. And his his physical and mental development was affected, and it is affected. It affected his speech, his balance, his fine motor and cognitive skills. And now he has global development delay and a weak memory and is very impulsive. So he's now an active 5-year-old. He has a joyful, gentle character. So like people love him. When they meet him, they love him. He does some odd things though, from time to time, like impulsive things, and that's part of the condition. We can't leave him to sleep on his own. He has to have 24/7 care. So the family are robbed of rest and sleep, because having a seizure could be a death sentence for him. He can have a seizure in the middle of the night when he's sleeping, and his mouth airways have to be kept clear. If a seizure goes for a long time, there are steps you've got to take to try and get him out of it. If he stops breathing, there are drops to put in the nose. If that doesn't work, or if it's long seizure, it's the ambulance and they're off to hospital. And I've got to say, the ambulance service in Adelaide is second to none. They have been extraordinarily supportive of David and Sean's family and of Sammy. One of the highlights has been Tia started a GoFundMe. That GoFundMe enabled us, or the family, to get Bruno. And Bruno, the dog, he was meant to be a seizure dog that would detect the seizures that were coming and be trained to put Sammy in a safe position, and even to call an ambulance, call for help. They can actually teach dogs to do that. Unfortunately, this little puppy wasn't deemed suitable, but he's got a loving personality. He's done a lot to help the mental health of the family. And so he has just been wonderful for the family. He has brought a lot of joy to the family. But the good news is that they needed $40,000 to raise to get a properly trained dog, and LifeNets has raised, when this was written, it was 22,000, and when this publication went out, it jumped up to 44,000 that has been raised, that they can now train 3 dogs, and those 3 dogs will be introduced to Sammy on a regular basis. And one of those dogs, the one who best bonds with Sammy and can do the commands that are needed to support Sammy, will come to live with the family. I think it's a 12-month training before he actually comes and lives full-time with the family. The dog still has to be treated specially, like the training and vaccinations and follow-ups and that, for the duration of the dog's life. So there's ongoing costs to that, and LifeNets have generously supported and committed to help in supporting the family through this. This will finally mean that Sean and David will be able to have a semi or somewhat normal life and get rest that they need, be able to sleep together in the same room, and basically just, like, instead of everything being around Sammy and Constance, Sammy's survival, they will have, like, help that they need. And I guess I looked at this, I think I cried for hours, because I thought God is so wonderful to move the hearts of people to gift and to care for someone they don't know, or someone they do know, because it's people that don't know the family or Sammy or us that have supported us, and people that aren't part of United Church of God, who a lot of the people there would know us. And people's hearts to be so giving and so generous. I cannot thank you all enough for what you've done for our family. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And just God bless all of you who have been part of this journey with us.